Starting off with some basketball news here today. All right, the NBA gets the ball rolling on mandatory booster shots. Cool. Some of your biggest stars in the league aren't even fully vaccinated, and you're just telling them to stay at home until they get the jab. But there is a choice after all. But yeah, no, they're becoming, at least to my knowledge, the first professional league that are going to be mandating boosters. Oh no, they haven't yet, but come on, if you start talking about it, we know all about these fucking weirdos dog whistling. Oh, we're thinking about it, and then a couple days later, yeah, no, we're actually going to be doing it. Okay, cool. In case you thought COVID-19 restrictions and mandates were going to fade away over time, even though you take a look at all of the tangible information that's out there, caseloads, hospitalizations, deaths, all of them are plummeting because vaccines work, right? No, they work in perpetuity because you have to keep getting them over and over and over again. Oh, okay, cool. You just want to line some people's mind or some people's pockets. Oh, and speaking of which, the NBA is already there to help them. No shit. The NBA is now telling players that they will no longer be considered fully vaccinated if they don't get a booster shot 6 months after the second dose, or by December 1st, for those who receive the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. While the NBA has not mandated vaccination for players, really? Just take a look at the strict procedures and the protocols that they have to follow. Individual teams have have gone further within the Brooklyn Nets, effectively suspending guard Kyrie Irving until he gets vaccinated. Well, it's a little bit more than effectively. It basically has. They just told him to stay at home until further notice. But we'll get to old Kyrie Irving here very shortly because not that long ago we have a little bit of a follow-up and a little bit of a development on his situation where basically he's persona non grata. But until then, we'll figure out what the rest of this booster mandate is going to look like. The NBA is just getting the ball rolling here, and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention won't be far behind. Yeah, they're already talking about it if it hasn't already been passed already. Like normal, all of these videos are recorded in a couple of days beforehand. They've already been talking about it, especially Pfizer asked, yes, for a jurisdiction for booster shots for every adult that's out there, or anybody over the age of 30 to get that over the Moderna shot, because you know what Moderna and 30-year-olds are all about, or younger than 30-year-olds. But yeah, no, safe and effective, by the way. After all, the CDC Director Rochelle Walensky telegraphed as much when she said, we may need to update our definition of fully vaccinated in the future. I think that was last week or the week before at this point. This fucking creep. Walensky also tweeted out a video supporting masking for the flu and the common cold, whatever, calling masking an important step that you can take to keep all of us healthy. How about just take a look whenever you enforce strict mask mandates. Just go ahead and figure out, and you just take a look at the cases in those certain places. You have a long enough swath of evidence to really put your ideas up for task. You just won't like the results. But yeah, no, masks also very effective. If you can't tell, sarcasm. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is one of the many who correctly predicted that fully vaccinated people will have their status downgraded as boosters become available. Hey, come on now. Well, he is probably the most prominent feature, and that's who these outlets are going to appeal to. I get it. The CDC has already trimmed the recommended waiting period for booster vaccination for some groups from 8 to 6 months. Yeah, and President Joe Biden has suggested that it should be trimmed further to 5 months. That was at least a month and change ago when he said that him and Fauci were discussing every 5 months, because Joe Biden is definitely a scientist and he's definitely a legitimate president. Meanwhile, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy has suggested that Biden administration vaccine mandate for businesses with more than 100 employees could be extended to smaller businesses as well, which would definitely involve the NBA. Speaking of which, we're going to get back to there. And like they mentioned up here before, yeah, effectively suspending Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets. Well, let's see how that is actually working out in real life and actuality. Joe Tsai, the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving's decision is about team, not him. Oh, but I thought it was a choice and it wasn't a mandate for all the players. Okay, cool. So what does this mean? Well, Joe Tsai would welcome Kyrie Irving back to the Nets if he gets vaccinated for COVID-19, but the team owner still admittedly doesn't know when or if the reunion might take place. And yeah, if it's up to Kyrie Irving, yeah, he's just not going to. He's just going to wait this out. He's got the money, he's got the cash, and he has the strength of will in order to make it happen. Joe Tsai told ESPN on Friday, okay, yeah, this was just before Halloween, so it's a little old, but it's still relevant, okay, trust me, right? That he hasn't spoken to the unvaccinated all-stars. Well, you're paying him. Well, actually, you're not. You just suspended him without pay. You've effectively done to him what many other employees or employers around the country have done to their unvaccinated employees. Just put them on unpaid leave for an unspecified amount of time until they bend the knee. So doesn't matter what the pay grade is, they will still treat you as such. But yeah, hasn't spoke to the unvaccinated all-stars since the decision was made earlier this month to keep Irving away from the Nets until he complies with local mandates. Just local mandates, right? Yeah, cool. And receives a vaccine shot. Theoretically, he could still be playing every other game outside of New York, okay? Yeah, he wouldn't be able to play against the Knicks as well because they're still within the same state, within fucking a few miles of one another, but okay. But to Philadelphia, they play in the same division. To Massachusetts, to Boston, you could play in those same places. You couldn't play at home because New York is fucking retarded. But no, this was the decision of Joe Tsai. You're not allowed to practice with the team. You're not allowed to travel with the team. You're not allowed to look at the team. Barely you're allowed to put on your jersey, okay? You are not supposed to represent the team one bit because you will not fall in fucking line. 29-year-old Irving is unable to play any games at Barclays or Madison Square Garden without being vaccinated, and Nets brass decided in mid-October to also bar him for participating in games in which he's eligible to play on the road. Yep. Obviously, Kyrie has his own beliefs, so I respect that. No, you don't. But we have to make a team decision. Why? I thought once you get the vaccine, it's safe and effective. What does one unvaccinated person do to that if the rest of your team is fully vaccinated? Oh God, that's kind of like admitting something without saying the part that would undermine your point to begin with. Oh, okay, I get that. Yeah, according to ESPN.com, obviously. This is not a decision about him. Why is that? I respect his belief, but I don't respect his decision. Okay, this is a decision about where we go as a team. Interesting. You're an individual until I want to make it about the team. Then, because there's arbitrary rules in place, if you don't fall in line with those, you're not a part of the team anymore. Very interesting. Very interesting. And it's just not tenable for us to have a team with a player that comes in and out, no home games, only away games. When do you do... Or what do you do in practice then? I don't know. Let him play. Let him be a part of the team. You're paying him to do as much. You signed him to a long-term fucking contract, you mongoloid. I don't know if he's an actual Mongol. But this week we have a whole stretch of 6 home games, so we won't have Kyrie. Regardless, if you were on the road for 6 straight games, you wouldn't have him due to your decision. So it became pretty clear to us. We are very much aligning among myself, Sean Marks, the GM, the coaching staff, that this has to be the decision, especially since we're a team with pretty lofty aspirations. Yeah, they've been up and down like a whore's drawers, really, in the standings. I think right now they're currently on a fairly lengthy winning streak, but again, you're without probably your second or third best player on your team. Somebody who you fundamentally created the roster around as well. Yeah, no, you guys are doing good in the short term, but in the long term, the East is still kind of a bitch. You might be able to win the division because it's a little bit in flux, especially with Philadelphia being just as crazy. Boston's decent. The Raptors stink to high heaven, let's be honest. And the Knicks are fine. But yeah, you guys could definitely win that division if you wanted to. You just are purposely handicapping yourself. Really sucks. Anyways, yeah. We don't see any other way of running this team. You don't see or you don't want to see. That's a very important distinction there. Nets head coach, Steve Nash said before Friday's game against the Pacers that he has messaged with Irving in recent weeks, but they didn't talk basketball. Yeah, because what's the point? Hey, how would you like to participate in practice? Oh, wait, fuck, you can't do that because our owner's retarded. The Nets have put on hold any talks of a potential contract extension who remains eligible, for Irving, who remains eligible to sign a 4-year deal worth $187 million, the max deal. I hope that Kyrie can be a part of the team, a part of Brooklyn long term. Yeah, just stop being retarded, Sai said. But I am not going to get into the extension thing. I think we have an immediate question of whether he can play this season, and I hope he gets vaccinated as soon as possible. I respect his decision, though. I just hope you get the jab and fall in line and compromise your own decision-making capabilities and your own morals. Okay, cool. Oh, but ain't that a bitch? Knicks. I keep wanting to say Knicks. Nets center Nick Claxton, a non-COVID illness. Oh my God, missed a second straight game, but it's definitely non-COVID, right? Malcolm Brogdon, also missed the game, and the rest of those really don't matter. Nash said Claxton hopefully will be able to play Sunday, but yeah, he's still sick, so whatever. That's cool and all. Stop being stupid. Let Kyrie play. And the NBA needs to get their head out of their ass, but obviously, of course they're not. And they're already talking about booster shots. Once again, they were when all of this fucking nonsense started, just about 21 months ago at this point. The NBA was the first league to shut down that ended up triggering the cascade of the other professional sports leagues to also close down their starting season. The MLB was in spring training at the time, and they closed down spring training. NFL ended up starting on time because they ran opposite timing, but yeah. If it wasn't for the NBA making the first move, things might have been different, but the NHL is still pretty soy-cucked anyways. But whatever, this is the NBA we're talking about. And hey, there are Chinese dollars on the table. You goddamn better believe that they're going to be doing anything within their power to bend the knee to them, but then also line their pockets with that very, very precious yuan. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.